Hello, boys and girls. Thanks for coming by to watch part 3 and the final part of Like Pickle Juice on a Cookie, which you guys can find on Amazon Kindle. I hope that you guys are, sorry, I'm just trying to pull up this first photo for you, the little cover photo. There you go. Like Pickle Juice on a Cookie, and this is by Julie Sternberg. I hope that you guys are continuing to staying safe and sane and staying healthy and being as productive as possible, especially during this quarantine. I know that a lot of places are already opening up, but making sure that you guys are staying safe and healthy. And I miss you guys so much. I really, really hope that I get to see you guys soon, either during summer or next fall. And let's go ahead and finish up this story. So we are over on chapter 21, and we are introduced to Eleanor and BB, who is her old babysitter who had to move away, and Eleanor was very upset about that, but her mom and dad found Natalie, who is now babysitting her, and you know, she's starting to like Natalie, but she's doing all the things that BB used to do, and so it's making her upset. So let's continue on and on to chapter 21. I like to draw, so I decided to draw a picture of Mr. Campanelli. Before I started drawing, my dad asked, "Do you know what you'll wear on the first day of school?" "Yes," I said. I went to my closet and showed him my white sundress. It was plain on top with 2 big orange flowers near the bottom. "Grandma Sadie gave it to me, remember?" I said. "That rings a bell," he said. "All my best clothes are from Grandma Sadie," I said. "Your grandma has excellent taste," my dad said, "and you will look wonderful on your first day of school." After that, I drew a picture of me in my sundress, and then, in my very neatest handwriting, I wrote Mr. Campanelli a note. I wrote, "Dear Mr. Campanelli, here is a picture of me in my first day of school dress. I drew my hair a little short because I will get a haircut too. I think you will see my hair and my dress before you get this letter because the mail takes forever. Your student, Eleanor." Chapter 22. When my mom came home, I showed her Mr. Campanelli's letter and my drawing and my note. I had a lot to tell her. "I have to read every day," I said. "Good," my mom said. "There's nothing better than reading. And I have to call Pearl in Oregon," I said, "and read Mr. Campanelli's letter to her, because she won't have gotten it." "No problem," my mom said. "And I have to get a haircut," I said. "I just learned that," my mom said, "from your note." "It has to be a morning haircut," I said, "so I'm back home before the mail comes." "I see." "It has to be with Lance," I said. "I like to get my hair cut by Lance." "Of course," my mom said. "And I have to get it cut just like that," I said, pointing to my picture. "Goodness," my mom said, squinting at the picture. Then she said, "I will make the perfect appointment, I promise." And she said, oh, sorry, "I will make the perfect appointment, I promise." She made the perfect appointment. Then she wrote the date and time for me on a big piece of paper, and we taped it to my bedroom door, so we would see it all the time and we won't forget. Chapter 23. The next time Natalie came, she said, "I brought surprises." Then she opened her bag and pulled out a photo album and a camera. That photo album was filled with pictures of flowers, giant orange flowers, and little white flowers, even bright blue flowers, like the ones I've seen in pictures of my mom's wedding bouquet. Natalie knew the names of every single one of those flowers. "I took most of these pictures upstate," she said. "I need more pictures from Brooklyn. Would you like to go on a walk with me and take pictures of Brooklyn flowers?" "I would," I said. So we went on a walk and took pictures of Brooklyn flowers. I'd never noticed before how many there are in little gardens in front of buildings, just off the sidewalks. Natalie showed me how to hold the camera steady and where to put my fingers and when to turn on the flash and when it turns off. After many, many pictures, she said, "It's time to head back." So we did. And right away we passed Roma Pizza. BB loved Roma Pizza. I started to think about the walks BB and I used to take and how she would hold my hand and say, "This is my best hand." I love this hand. My hand missed BB. I took a deep breath and said to Natalie, I miss BB. Natalie stopped walking and looked at me. Of course you do, she said. Of course you miss BB. How long was she your babysitter? My whole life, I said. And she was your first babysitter? Natalie asked. First babysitters are very special. We started walking again. Then Natalie said, I know I'm not BB, and I'll never be your first babysitter, but I'll try to be an excellent second babysitter. Does that sound okay? Yes, I said, and it sounded better than okay. It sounded good. Chapter 24. When the telephone rang on Wednesday in the late afternoon, I knew it was for me. Pearl, I said. And then she said, I called you the second we got in. Then I heard my mom's voice in the background again. Then I heard her mom's voice in the background again. I can't really talk, Pearl said. I have to unpack and eat and take a bath. I'll pick you up tomorrow morning, I said, at 8:15 sharp, right in front of your building. Hooray, 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 Pearl said. Then we hung up. Later, I ate too, just like Pearl, and took a bath and washed my hair, which Lance had cut just right, and put on my favorite pajamas. Then I went to my closet and took out my white sundress with the orange flowers on the bottom, and it hung on my doorknob, so I would find it right away in the morning, and it wouldn't slow me down. That night, both of my parents tucked me in. Such a big day tomorrow, my dad said. Are you nervous? My mom asked. I'm okay, I told them. But after they dimmed the lights and left the room, I started worrying. I worried that I'd be late for Pearl and late for school, even though I'd put out my sundress. I worried that Mr. Campanelli wouldn't like me. I worried that I wouldn't get to sit near Pearl. I worried that my other friends had forgotten me. I worried that I'd forgotten all my math. I worried about tests and reports and homework. I worried about my handwriting. I worried and worried and worried until finally I tiptoed through the dark into my parents' room and over to their bed, where they were sleeping. I tapped my mom on the shoulder. I can't sleep, I whispered. She said. I thought I would have to tap her again, but then she opened her eyes a little and scooted over and lifted up the blanket for me to crawl in. She put her arm over me, and I slept right there, right next to my mom, the whole rest of the night. Chapter 25. We were right on time for Pearl and right on time for school. Mr. Campanelli was at the door of the classroom waiting for us, smiling, with his green and blue checked shirt and his shortened hair that was not so crazy. And all my friends were back. Nora had made necklaces for me and Pearl. Katie ran up and hugged me. Adam gave me some gum. Let's start the day with some drawing, Mr. Campanelli said. So I sat at a table with Pearl and Katie and Nora, and we did some drawing. Then Mr. Campanelli read us poems and asked us to write poems of our own. Please start your poem with the words, love is, he said. Think about how you know you love someone, or how you know someone loves you, and write that down. Ask me any questions you want, and don't worry about this a bit. It's our very first day after all. We're just getting warmed up. So I got my paper and a pencil, and I did some thinking. Then I wrote my poem. I wrote, love is calling me Ellie. Love is ice on my arm. Love is 3 green berets. Love is lemonade. Soon, Mr. Campanelli walked around the room and checked our work. An excellent job, he said when he read my poem, but you're making me thirsty. He didn't say anything about my handwriting, so I guess it was fine, and I thought I might like 3rd grade. The rest of the day went very fast. Soon, Natalie was there to pick me up. Here, I said when she came in, this is for you. I handed her one of the pictures I had drawn earlier, a picture of flowers in a little garden just off the sidewalk. I love it, Natalie said. It's perfect. Thank you. Then Pearl came over. I didn't want her to say anything about BB, and she didn't. Instead, she said to Natalie, you have the most beautiful hair I've ever seen. goodness, Natalie said. She ran her hand over her ponytail. Thanks. Then Natalie smiled at Pearl, and Pearl smiled at Natalie, and I felt happy. Chapter 26. Natalie and I walked Pearl and her mom to their building. Then we headed home. And as we turned the corner, we saw Val, who saw us too, and raised her arm, and waved and shouted, "Come quick, you two, run!" So we ran all the way to Val. Chapter 27. When we reached Val, she handed me a letter to Miss Eleanor Abigail Kane from Miss B.B. Bolasing. I took that letter and thanked Val, and ran with Natalie all the way to my apartment. Then I wasn't sure what to do. I wanted to read BB's letter by myself, but I didn't want Natalie to feel bad. Natalie must have read my mind. "Would you like to take the letter to your room?" she asked. "While I make us a snack?" I smiled at Natalie and nodded my head and went in my room and sat on my bed and read from my letter from BB. It said, "Dear Eleanor, I am sorry that your pants are too big, but I'm sure that will change soon because you're growing so fast. It is hot here in Florida. In the afternoons, my dad and I now sit on our porch and wait for the breeze. We talk about you. We talk about how smart you are and how funny you are and how sweet you are. I think of you every single day. You will always be my Ellie, and I will always be your BB, even if I am here in hot Florida, sweating, and you are far away. I miss you infinity, and I love you to the moon and stars and back and then around again. All my love, BB." I like reading BB's letter. I read it every single day, which is good, because reading is important for 3rd grade. I think BB's words are beautiful, like the poems we're reading with Mr. Campanelli, and like Natalie's hair. I keep the letter right by my bed, so I see it when I wake up in the morning and when I go to sleep at night. BB will always be my first babysitter, my very special babysitter, and she will always be my BB, even if she is waiting for the breeze in Florida and I am far away. And that is the end of the story. So please tell me what you guys thought about this story. It was an interesting read because the format of the book was actually very similar to a poem. So if you can see here, like the format is in poem form, kind of with the short lines and things like that. But the story was really cute because it showed, one of Eleanor's babysitters having to move away and Eleanor having to adjust to a new babysitter. And then there was the poem that she wrote in class where it had bits of the love that she has for BB, but also the love that she has grown for Natalie as well. So that was a really cute story. I really liked it. Please tell me what you guys thought about it. And yeah, I hope that you guys are staying safe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.